What is up, everybody? It is Alex, the Millennial Builder, and today we have another hot seat. Today we are talking to Tony, my HVAC guy. We are going to cover everything from how to hire an HVAC guy to if you're looking to become an HVAC professional. He's going to talk a little bit about how much money you can actually make being an HVAC guy, as well as we're going to get into a little bit about starting your own small business, some of the mistakes he's made, some of the risks he's taken as a small business owner, all the way to some of the successes he's had and some of the things he's learned. Thanks for joining us again, and let's get to Tony.
Check it out.
It's probably 2 years into my owning my company where I did a dentist office. And the biggest thing was, I guess the challenges for that to be the risky part, was I didn't really know how to bid a dentist office, even though, because most of the stuff I did at my previous employment was all residential and more related to, one-on-one with the customer, where this was commercial and there's designers and a whole bunch of people involved. So it got a little tricky price-wise, but we were able to come out on somewhat the winning end. But for the most part, it was quite a learning curve. But I learned right away that I like to stay light commercial versus heavy commercial and residential.
Check it out.
Holy buckets, there's a lot of things. The biggest thing would have been like if someone had been give me a magic sign to say this is what you need to charge somebody, that'd be awesome. That was always the kind of learning curve, is to kind of keep up with the bigger shops, just due to the fact that you kind of want to make money at it, but yet you don't want to. I guess I feel like I don't really want to rip the customer off. So if I am willing to pay for it at that price, I feel that they should be willing to pay for it at that price. But that was the tough part going off the beginning, because it was, for my other shop, there's a lot more factors that were involved that I didn't see, and we just had you did a couple percents more of this and this and this and this, and I kind of started off that because I was doing some of that stuff, but obviously there's some extra costs that, when you're in a bigger shop like that are being made up with like service calls and all that kind of stuff that at first you don't really realize. So that was the biggest one, is to kind of stay competitive. I was really competitive because I was usually way at the bottom end right away starting off, so it kind of hurt. And obviously when I started my company, it was when the market crashed. It was 08 and 09, so that didn't help either. So it was really hard to get work, and even the bigger shops were cutting prices just to try to stay and keep, obviously their guys going. So it was kind of difficult that way. But otherwise, the other thing would be is have a better understanding of paperwork. Because obviously it's easy to go out, quote somebody, and go do the work, and then you got to go home and now log in all your invoices, obviously do tax prep, do the invoice, send it off to them, correlate all that stuff kind of behind the scenes that no one really sees. But I guess before, obviously in the big shop, even though I was bidding jobs and everything, I didn't really have to do that, because obviously that was our secretary's job, was all the invoicing and stuff. So I got kind of a little bit of a rude awakening on that, but I was kind of prepared for it a little bit, I guess. But those have been the two things.
Check it out.
Well, the biggest thing is if you call out there, right now I know it's extremely busy, so obviously all the guys are busy, which is good. So some of my advice to that is if they can be out there, I expect a lot of the bigger shops to be out there right away service-wise, but if they can say they can come and do this tomorrow, there's probably an underlining thing that they weren't too busy, so their quality might not be as good because a lot of people aren't using them. Is kind of my thing I've noticed. The next thing would be obviously just, look at them. People got a good feel for, you can kind of look at somebody and go, well, I don't know, he kind of looks creepy, or, and I don't know, trust your gut on it. Just because some of those guys, there's a lot of fly-by-nighters that give good guys bad names. So yeah, I would trust your gut a lot. But the biggest thing is if they can jump to it, I would say, and it's not a slow period, especially during the summer and stuff, I would say they don't have a lot of work, so either that is due to the poor quality or just they might not have a good attitude. Well, I guess my advice would be I know they got a lot of apprenticeship programs out there and stuff, but the biggest thing I would say too would be to test it out. I kind of did framing actually before I became a heating guy, and I don't know, like I kind of got into heating. It was kind of a goofy thing, but because I tested out framing though, I got another thing that, hey, if something were to happen in this, I got something else I could try too. So that was kind of nice, but you get a feel for it, even if you work like a month or 2 months or something and jump around from guy to guy and just have a guy pay you some, just crappy wages probably just because you're not going to know, but you kind of get a feel for if this is what you're looking for. If you want to be that service tech or if you want to be an install guy, because a lot of bigger shops, you do one job and you do one job for the rest of your life. You're a boiler dude, you're a service tech or whatever, because they just have so many guys. And then some guys want to stay small where you do it kind of like more what I do. And then, so I would say the biggest thing would be just to get into it and get hands-on, see if you like it. And then I would say follow up with school, because there's a lot more technology now behind my stuff, like a lot of computer boards controlling stuff, and it's just easier on you if you got a little bit more of an understanding of how that is working and kind of running through the system to kind of give you guidance. I would say there's some old stuff I remember from school when I went to it that stick with me today, because even though how much technology goes in there, there's still only a couple ways a furnace works, and no matter how much technology you put behind it, it's still there. But it's good to have that underlining base knowledge, I would say.
Check it out.
Well, I know starting out, you're going to be pretty much piddly. Even coming out of school, you're probably looking, depending on, probably like commercial versus, residential, probably looking between 15 and 20. And then some shops maybe even a little bit less than that. I would say a couple years in, and if you got a little bit more experience and you're pushing the lines of a service tech, probably can get into the 20s. I would say mid to about like 22 to 28 range. And then obviously you've been in the trades for 10 years and you're up there and you got a lot of experience. You could probably be, I'd say 35 to 45, depending on where you're at. I would say the higher end stuff all the time is probably going to be your bigger commercial shops, just due to the fact that they, just have certain guys for certain things, so they can charge differently than residential, where even though you got more knowledge and probably concept overall than some guys, but it's just the price point. Everything commercial seems like everybody charges more, I guess. It's just, so residential, obviously it's personal pocketbook, so they don't spend as much, I guess.
Check it out.
Well, my favorite tool, I guess, is kind of born into me with Milwaukee. It kind of wasn't at first, obviously, when I was a framer. We used a lot of DeWalt products, and we used DeWalt like all the time, and which they were not bad. And obviously I went into the trades, and then we had Panasonic when I was working for my other company, and they were a good drill. The battery lasted, it seemed like forever, but the drill would die. And then Milwaukee kind of stepped up to the game, and that's kind of where I've been, because now they make a lot more trade specific tools that we use to obviously speed up our job, so obviously keep our price points down, but yet make some money. So, and they make a lot of them. I mean, obviously you go out there now, they got weed whippers, they got everything. Jackhammers, they're making all kinds of stuff. So I obviously went with Milwaukee. At the time, Rigid was making quite a bit of stuff too. I've used Rigid. I guess once I got into Milwaukee, there's no sense going back now, because I got all the batteries, and then I don't know, now I got so many Milwaukee tools. It's just sometimes I forget I have it, and then it's just one of those things where I guess once you got into the company. But overall, Milwaukee's always treated me fair. It's good. Their warranty's been good. I've had to turn some stuff in, and they fixed it, gave it back, or gave me a brand new replacement, so I can't complain, I guess.